All right, all right, all right. That's my Matthew McConaughey impression. Guys, I've got a box here of vintage fucking candy. Sorry, I just had a live stream over on Facebook of some Minikins. Guys, if you're into Garbage Pail Kids at all, go find my new group. Actually, my only group I've ever had. Everything Garbage Pail Kids on Facebook, and join that shit. I will be kind of moving all my Garbage Pail Kids shit over to that group. But over here, I'm still, for at least for a while, I'm going to do all the candy stuff over here. But anyway, on Instagram. Anyway, this is old vintage candy items. This is my bread and butter, guys. We are talking a box that's not as heavy as it should be, but about a pound, half. Anyway, enough blabbering. Let's get inside. So I buy candy lots weekly. It's amazing they're still available to buy, honestly. You would think with everyone's money problems, I know I have tons of money problems right now. A lot of people suffering due to probably the Democrats. Just kidding. Okay, but anyway, due to, inflation or whatever, it's surprising that you can still find big lots of candy. But you can. This was a $32 lot, if you wanted to know. Let's take them all out. Get this fucking thing out of here. Okay. Now, this lot has a few things I'll keep, and the rest I will sell, and that's the whole point of buying these. I rarely buy a lot just to keep it all. I usually look for lots that I can take a little out and sell the rest, because I got to keep the shit going in my store. Alright, guys, I always see a pretty rare one here. Alright, let's go ahead and get this all open. Just to warn you, I will be talking about each of these items. So this is going to take a little while. This is probably going to be about a 20-minute video. Alright, and there's another bag over here, just so you know. Alright, now this lot is so random, and it comes from a dealer who has a massive store. And they sell old ones, like super old, like candy containers your grandma would have, for example, like the glass ones. And they have stuff all the way to the 90s, from our period. And so when you're dealing with this seller, you're getting so much of a random mix of eras. It's pretty crazy. But there's some obscure stuff in here. Let's get inside here. First one is one I've never seen before. I've never even seen the front of this because I couldn't see it in the pictures. It's in some weird... God, that looks like shit. Look at that. Looks like a rabbit. Like someone cleaned out a rabbit hutch. This is vile. Anyway, I've never seen this. I know you've never seen it. If I've never seen this, you fucking sure never seen this. Some weird-ass candy from another country. I'm going to hang on to that, actually. That's pretty cool. First thing I'll do is translate whatever that says. It probably says peach. I see some sweet, fuzzy cheeks. Look at that. Next up is another one I've never seen before. Don't even know what this is. I'm holding it, and I still don't know what the fuck that is. Is this a muffin or biscuit? What the hell is this? It's still in this random bag. Has a pretty damn cool old Walgreens price sticker. Has the Telltale Hong Kong candy packet special on the bottom, just tacked on like a... Yeah, so fucking cheap. Look at that. Yeah, guys, I love this stuff. This is way better than I thought it was going to be. Next up are candy fangs. These were given out as treats during Halloween back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. They would just put in the most random, crappy candy, generic fucking candy with them. Now, I do have one in the collection that is by E. Rosen, the classic candy brand E. Rosen. But this is unbranded. Even the candy inside, even the packet, has no writing on it. Kind of sus, don't you think? Next up should be an Earth Shaker. Oh, it's not even that. It's a knockoff of the Leaf Earth Shaker gum you might remember from 1978. Probably don't. I don't either, to be honest. I just have some in my collection. It has a mysterious blonde hair on it. I'll save that for DNA. But yeah, the chiclets inside look pretty good. Even has a anomaly conjoined one there. But yeah, completely generic. Notice it's in a vending capsule. Here's one that we've all seen. Here's the 1981 to 1992-ish Topps Super Skate. Made in the classic roller skate style, which, you know, back, if you remember, in 1981 or the early 80s, we were still roller skating as children. It's dated 81, or it's in the plastic. I don't see it right now, but, well, this one actually has a 91 date. Okay. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. These were actually also made or distributed by the Nova Bonbon factory in Canada. And that was on 1120 Tapscott Road, Scarborough, Ontario. Here's another one of those fangs. Pretty cool there. Man, wouldn't it be kind of weird to give this out this Halloween to a child? They wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it. Next up, I know this one without looking. I'm gonna give you guys a shocker. I did not look at this, I swear to God. This is made by Russ. These could be found in pharmacies like Verevco, fucking Eckerd's. Hopefully it has the label on the bottom. Yes. So as a candy geek, this is something I totally geek out over because there's so few. Russ made so few candy novelties, but this is one of them, and it's Telltale Russ. Now, if you didn't know, Russ also put out, I'm talking about the company, not me. Russ put out Trolls. You might remember the little dolls, troll dolls that had the hair that smelled like strawberry. Fun fact. Anyway, here is a vending machine parachute. These are typically Kamen Rider, but this looks totally generic, but pretty cool. Notice the sunshine yellow monochromatic plastic. Now it's missing its packet of candy, but luckily back in my warehouse, my closet, I have some generic candy that I'll rubber band to it, because these came with a rubber band with a packet on the back. It goes right here. I know how these look. Next up is something I've never seen. Tons of damage. Happens to be a monkey. I hate monkeys. They're the most vile creature on the planet Earth, worse than spiders and snakes. Fucking ugly ass monkey. But I have never seen this before. I'm not convinced this is a candy container. Okay, and we've come to a couple things that caught my eye when I initially bought the lot. These are, now I'm not sitting on $1 million here. Maybe $5 if I'm lucky, but I'm not selling these. But these are novelty pill bottles. Now, these were probably not sold separately in stores. This probably came with a doctor's kit. I know that because I have some that came from a 1950s doctor's kit, and they still have their candy pills inside. But I've never seen these variants. These are probably from the 80s. They could be dated. Yeah, they're never, well, yeah, 1976. This is making me think this might have been sold individually. Guys, this might have been sold individually. So here's where you could have found these back in the 80s, 70s, or 80s in a comedy store. Guys, you remember they used to have comedy stores where they sold magic tricks and they had novelty candies? Well, those old comedy stores or hobby shops, I'm thinking of Spencer's Gifts, but I want to point this out. I'm also thinking about, I know in Atlanta where I grew up, we had comedy stores and you could buy gags in there. But this is something that you would see in a comedy store. This is not something you'd see in a Walmart or Kmart. Very cool. Sorry, I'm not even turning. I'm just blabbering. Yeah, I'm geeking out, man. These are cool. These are not leaving the collection. Next up is another Topps skate. I'm just going to skip the verbiage. Next up is a 1990 or 1991. Sometimes I'll mix up the dates on these. This is a Jammin' Jumper, I believe it's called. Yeah, Topps Jammin' Jumper. There you go. I'll tell you guys a little fun thing. On eBay, you know, I have that big store. I listed one of these, and in the title, I put Air Jordans. Because this is what they're based off of. They were based off the Air Jordan craze that really started popping off in the early 90s. It took a little while for them to take off, pun intended. But anyway, I got flagged on eBay because I put Air Jordan in the listing for Jammin' Jumpers. And I was contacted by a mysterious gentleman who I believe handles Michael Jordan's, or he's on that team of copyright fucking enforcers or whatever you call them, lawyers. And guys, I thought I was going to get my store taken down. It was very sketchy, and I've had to warn some friends who have sold some stuff that's Air Jordan-like. Anyway, this is a candy flute. These actually sell very well. Do you know there's actually whistle collectors out there that like things like this? This is made by Beat International. These are jumpers. And so jumpers are a part of the novelty category. And they have springs on them. Sometimes these are suckers. Like they're suction cups. But these are the flat ones. They should be sucker cups. Because, sometimes the jumper toy play function or whatever doesn't work because they tip over when you try to pop them. But as you see, they put the sucker cup suction cup. I need to slow down. Suction cup here instead of here, but sometimes they're both. Anyway, they have novelty heads on them. Here's an elephant. Ugly fucking monkey. Horrible creatures. Here's another monkey that I will be very excited to sell and get rid of. Elephants happen to be my favorite animal. That and the manatee. Anyway, here's another elephant. Pretty damn cute. These have Walgreens price stickers on them. 4 for $1. Seems a little expensive for even that back in that day. Here's one I didn't ever see or have. It appears to be a whistle trumpet combo. Super party favor vibes. Also a creepy, almost Garbage Pail Kid-like posturing of a... God, I almost said rabbit. Is it missing its ears? This is bizarre. And not sure why the legs are they're showing right there. That's kind of strange. Obviously, this is probably Easter, I would imagine. You saw, a lot of this stuff was Easter fodder for Easter season. Parents needed stuff to fill up those big Easter baskets we used to get back when we were kids. This is something I've never seen before. Super generic, super small. But this is a candy tin, just a weird, obscure candy tin. Coach House gifts. I see this price sticker a lot. I don't think we had Coach House gift stores in Georgia, where I've always lived my whole life. Could be wrong about that, but I've never personally remembered that store. We had Hallmark stores, I believe, in the mall. Anyway, we'll see the next and last little briefing here. These appear to be the larger items she packed together. This will give me a second to catch my breath. I'm really rambling today. Too much coffee, probably. Let's get this out of the way. This is a 1993 or thereabouts Power Ranger, which are beloved, by the way, something I didn't quite know, still beloved. These guys that grew up with Power Rangers, they're in the collecting adult range, if that makes any sense. A lot of people my age, I'm almost 50. We're kind of over it. We've kind of gone through the nostalgia, but the people from the Power Rangers and the Harry Potter and the fucking, never mind. But those people, who grew up with this kind of stuff, they're becoming basically our age when we were into this more. If that makes any sense. So, Pokemon. The Pokemon kids are now adults. And so stuff like this, even though I hate this crap, these are great sellers, by the way. I'll have to fill these up with gumballs. Let me check that date. Yeah, 93. There you go. There's another one in here, a red one. This one's full. We can look at that. Now they made a Sonic one. If you want to find that, that's another group of the population who are becoming collectors. It's all the Sonic people. You know, the Mario people, we've gotten kind of old, but the Sonic people, they were a little bit behind us, and now they're heavy collectors, if that makes any sense. So if you're interested in stuff like that, kind of the trends of the market, novelty market, it's a bunch of this Pokemon and Power Rangers. Pretty cool. As opposed to the Ultraman people who are now, I think the Ultraman people were baby boomers, honestly. That was before my time. Okay, next up, this is made by the Creative Confections Company. Now, this has happened to be holding this, which is also by the same company. That's very weird. That's how that worked out. But yeah, these are actually by the same company. I'm geeking out, obviously. Oh, it even has a 7-Eleven price sticker. That's really cool. So this was made in 1995 by Creative Confections. This is Power Prism. And what it is, it's a kaleidoscope. Right now it's filled with some actually still very beautiful candy pellets. Maybe it's gum. But if you eat this or take them out, you can actually see, you know, a little spectrum or prism when you look through it, like an eyeglass. And randomly attached to this is actually by the same company, which is really cool. But this is obviously a Taz. A great sculpt, man. Look at that Taz. That's pretty cool. I didn't actually have this one, so I'll hang on to this. But at one time, Creative Confections had a little canister. Look, I was playing with my dick there for a second. But it was filled with gumballs. But very, very cool. Great sculpt, man. Damn. Can't get over it. Okay. Got some little bangers here at the end. Let's go ahead to this one. I've actually never seen one of these sealed. Oh, it's missing its trunk. What the fuck, man? That's a bummer, man. Damn. Well, I have one back in my closet, which has its trunk, but it's a yellow one. That's a shame. But anyway, this is obviously a elephant candy container made in Japan. Oh, the original seller dated it, 1989. That's nice. Didn't know that. Figured it was 80s. This is made by Leaf, the legendary company Leaf. And these are candy comics. And this is actually a tiny little comic book. I'm sorry, I messed this up. This is the bubblegum one. There's also a candy one by Leaf. I'm sorry, this is the Emerald one. This is the bubblegum Bubble Funnies. That comes with bubblegum inside. This is the same maker as the next one. And this is almost the same product. But this is Chew Bops. You might remember these. Super cool, super cool. They mass produced these. This is the problem with Chew Bops. These were so mass produced, it kind of took the edge off the coolness of them, especially as collectors, because these are so easy to find. But had these been more rare, this would have been one of the greatest candy novelties of all time as a collector. Still very cool, just super mass produced. But yeah, this is a Chew Bop. And they made the album covers exact copies. These are exact copies of actual record covers. And they did some really good bands too, not just some obscure ones. Not sure how they worked out the license agreements on those. Probably had to pay them a little something, didn't they? This one's sealed. These are seriously prone to staining, because inside here is a record made of bubble gum, and this is cardboard. And when you stick cardboard next to bubble gum and you age it for 40 plus years, it tends to stain it. And this happens to be a pretty good example. Nothing to write home about, but you do often see these stained, and this one's not, so that's nice. But back to this. This is made by the same company. Same sort of thing. Inside is a page of bubblegum that's stuck in this little comic book. No, I don't think I have these. I'll hang on to that, even though I'm not a comic book person at all. This is made by Alberts. Unfortunately, it's missing its paper label. It's actually a rare one, doesn't mean value at all. This is worth nothing, 50 cents maybe. But as a collector, it's a little geek moment, having something this old. This is actually one of the oldest things in the entire lot. These go back towards the 60s even. And that's the age we're talking about. But this is a candy bottle in the style of the day. This was not a mod piece back in the day. This was made in the style of their bottles from that time period. That's how old this thing is. Again, it's towards the 60s, maybe early 70s. But yeah, still has its candy powder in there. Yep. And then the last piece is going to be a 1979 Topps Robotron. Notice that's Proto Transformers. This is before Transformers, or thereabouts. So not sure where the inspiration came from. Could be, you know, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, something other. But it does have sort of a Transformer feel, especially when you open this. I might can open this. Yeah, it's been opened. Yeah, we can close on this. A lot of people have never seen the inside of one of these. Let's do this as a little finale. Yeah, so you're getting to see the inside. Oh, notice, by the way, I love how they embossed the plastic there. 1978, sorry. Anyway, yeah, they come with spaceships. Little aliens. Here's an actual UFO. A rocket. This is a ray gun. Yeah. Cool shit, man. All right, just a little quick review. I'm not going to go back through all this. This is just a super messed up lot of almost like 60s. That might be 70s. A lot of 70s mixed up with even some mid 90s, which is pretty much novelty candy. That's sort of the golden era of novelty candy. After about 96, that's when Topps bowed out. Amaral started really bowing out in the mid 90s. A lot of these companies kind of bowed out, and but anyway, very cool, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Nice seeing you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one when I get another candy lot in. And I'm going to go lay down. Whew. All right, see you guys in the next one. Russ Van out.